This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review John Woo's latest action thriller, Silent Night. Plus, Ryan Reynolds tries to fight Deadpool 3 set leaks. Does Tom Holland want to continue as Spider-Man? Bob Iger throws everyone under the bus to explain what happened with the Marvels. Do modern comic book writers get the characters they're writing? And we learned some new slang. All that and more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, December 11th, 2023.
This is Norm MacDonald, and you're listening to the, hang on, I got it here. It says, the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Known for their series of gay erotica found on Amazon, No? That's not that? Oh. Well, I fucked that up, I guess.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we heard it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we heard it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh yeah, what's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play. And welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, a fella. Oh, he's not an alpha male. He's trying to be Sigma. He's got that Skibbity Ohio Riz. It's Rug Boy the Rizzler.
Yeah, call me the Rizzler. I got that Phantom tax, motherfucker.
I don't know what any of these words mean, Anthony.
Bro, I'm trying to be Skibbity in Ohio with looking at the yacht.
Get the fuck out of here. What has happened to the English language?
I don't know. This is what we're using, if you don't know, is Generation Alpha slang. So if you're out there playing Minecraft or Roblox, you're using these memes.
Yeah, drop a Phantom tag. Any of those words mean anything to you, Anthony?
No.
I don't know what the hell you guys are saying. Right
So this all started because just before the show, Ruggs shared this YouTube video titled TikTok Slang Just Got Worse. And it's a video made by a millennial talking about the Gen Alpha slang. And the hilarious thing is the millennial making the video is even like, I don't know what the fuck any of these words mean. And apparently skibbity is a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's real.
It means, these are words I have no business saying. Skibbity means like when you're evil or something in gaming or a bad guy.
Right.
Phantom tax means to just take someone's food.
Yeah, you just fucking go into someone's house and you fucking go in the refrigerator.
Like, is like at a restaurant, or do you like break in and take their food? I don't understand.
I think you're just copping people's food like that they're eating
You're
while
just
they're,
yeah,
like your friend pulls out like a Twinkie and you just bite half of it.
You're like Phantom tax, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Ohio, the state. What does this
I don't know.
mean?
Nobody knows what that means. They just throw it in there just to fucking confuse people.
Why Ohio?
I don't know. I guess I have no idea.
I love that Ruggs is the one answering the questions here too.
Yeah. I watched the YouTube video, Anthony. I know everything.
We have all the information we need.
Look, I'm making up my own shit now. I'm just gonna be like Buenos Nutsack or something like that.
Yes, we're just gonna start making up.
Yeah, I'm
shit
making my own shit up
so that it'll seem like we're in the know and nobody else knows. What So did you know the word Riz? Not only was it added by the Oxford Dictionary, Oxford named it the 2023 Word of the Year.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
How does that happen? How does that get nominated and made the word of the year?
It beat out Swifty and Situationship to win. Which all this means is the word Riz is done, right? It's dead. It's in the dictionary.
Yeah, now old people are using it like me.
Yeah, the kids are going to stop using the Rizzler.
So people can just make up words and then they get into the dictionary.
Somehow,
Well, yeah, I think you have to be like really cool. I think most of these words were coined by like a streamer who raps or something.
Kai Cenat popularizing it in 2021.
Well, like Swifty, that's just a play on Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
How does that become a word?
What? Yeah, when it's a fan of Taylor Swift, that's the definition. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can I be a Drakey or a...
Yeah, why can't you be anything else?
What would be a jockey?
A jockey or nerdy?
A nerdo?
It's just the power of
a ruggy?
A ruggy.
Yeah, a ruggy.
A rug Riz.
Let's get that to trend.
The Rizzler sounds like some new Batman villain also.
Yeah.
I'm the Rizzler.
He just steals Batman's chicks.
I will charm you to death.
Like Bruce Wayne's out on a
takes
date.
all-
And here comes the Rizzler.
Oh shit! Here comes the Rizzler. He's gonna take all my girls.
He's got
away
Vicky
from-
Vale and
Yeah,
Catwoman.
yes, they all just are attractive.
Talia
to
al
him.
Ghul. He just has all of them. The Rizzler.
So he defeats him by challenging his manhood, and then Batman is defeated.
Or it could be a female Rizzler.
Yeah, it
taking
could be
all-
female Rizzler.
And still taking all Batman's chicks.
Yeah, that's the works.
Well,
Female Riz? I don't know.
Female Riz.
It's a stretch.
Anyways, listeners,
As I pop open a alcoholic beverage.
try and keep up as these 10 to 12-year-olds using these words will eventually be your bosses in the workplace. So
Yes.
you're going to have to keep up with the times. I'm going to try. All right. We got...
geez, Imran, you're very cryptic. You don't think you'd move up fast enough for these people to become your boss?
They're going to pass right by me. And I'm fine with that. And I'm just going to be like, I don't know what
Imran
you're talking
submits
about.
immediately. Imran rolls over and shows
Like
his
I said,
soft belly.
Yeah, Imran shows his stomach right away like a dead dog. Just
Like I said, if I was on the Squid Game, the challenge, I would have been like, we're getting the umbrella people in the cookie game. Sorry, there's no other way around it. Just deal. Be like, go ahead. I'll take a donut off the desk. I'll go Phantom Tech. Walk by. I don't know. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, enough of this bullshit. We got some shit to talk about. Let's get to it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
I want to start with talking about what all the kids are talking about. Deadpool. Deadpool 3 specifically. I don't know. Are they talking about that? Who knows? What I do know is that Deadpool 3 is the only MCU movie we are getting next year, 2024. It's kind of crazy. And as you know, they were shooting before the strikes. There were some set photos out. They have resumed shooting. And there's more set photos out. A lot of leaks, a lot of photos of things. I tried not to look at them because I want to go in unspoiled, but I couldn't help scrolling. Did you guys see any of these set photos? The original?
No, I was smart.
All right.
I thought I saw a couple, but it hasn't ingrained in my memory. So
Spoiler alert.
It's not. They're not even like that.
Oh, it's the
revealing.
one, is that the one with Wolverine in it?
Yeah, it's that same set with like where everything is busted and it's all beige in the background and there's a fight scene. One of them. So here starts maybe a little spoilery. One of them did show Sabretooth, him fighting Taylor Mane Sabretooth, not Liv Schreiber's.
Tyler Mane.
Tyler Mane. Oh, Tyler, not Taylor. Taylor Mane is that pop star from the 80s, I think. That's Taylor. I
No,
don't know.
Taylor Dane.
Taylor Dane. Oh, Taylor
Yeah.
Dane is a giant dog. No, wait, that's a Great Dane.
Here we go.
Anyways,
going off.
I'm off. So Tyler Mane, Sabretooth, and then there was a shot of Deadpool holding his decapitated head up in the air in this one setting. They're still shooting. So it's just funny because these things are coming out, and Ryan Reynolds has gone out and tried to plead with people, saying, hold back showing these images. He says, quote, surprises are part of the magic of theatrical movies. It's important for us to shoot the new Deadpool film in real, natural environments using practical effects as opposed to making the movie indoors and digitally. Telephoto lenses continue to spoil surprises and create a difficult situation for everyone. And he posted out some funny pictures where he took these set photo leaks and Photoshop things in there. Did you guys see any of these photos?
I did.
Those are kind of pretty good, right? Did you like the one where the Predator is just the back of the Predator?
I got confused. I wasn't in on the joke, so I saw the Predator one. I went, what?
You're like,
And
see the
then-
movie?
Yeah, and then I started seeing some of the other stuff. I went, oh, they're trolling us, which was clever.
Yeah.
Is Steve Urkel in one of them?
Yes, there's one with the Urkel dancing.
If that he really ends up being in the movie, it's
Jaleel
just a
White
troll. It's a
cameo?
troll inside of a troll.
Oh my God. Remember Do the Urkel? Remember the dance in the song?
Remember Stefan?
Oh, yes. Then remember him as Bruce Lee? That show was great. There's another one. So that picture, that other picture I mentioned where he was holding Sabretooth's head, they have photoshopped a bag of money in Deadpool's hand and like a Mickey Mouse mascot's in the background clapping. That's pretty good too. And then my other favorite one, remember there was a set where it's like a demolished Fox Studios and they turned the Fox into Quibi. So that's also, it's pretty clever. It's pretty clever. But what do you guys think? Should they not, for this case, for Deadpool 3, do you not want to see these? Does it matter to you?
I'm not looking for them.
Yeah.
It just, you're telling me about it, so I looked at it. But Yeah, I'm not really online looking for them. I think that if they're intrusively coming onto your feed and appearing without a spoiler warning, then that's kind of fucked up. But we know this shit.
I'm with Ruggs. I'm not also looking for them. I would have preferred not to hear about it, but Imran has a big fucking mouth, so he wants to talk about it.
It's not even that spoiler.
I prefer to go into the movie and have a genuine surprise. So the more of these I could avoid, the better. But this is modern filmmaking, and it's nice to see that. As Ryan said, they're filming on some real sets. Yeah. So unfortunately, this is the downside of that: is it's out in the open, and people might be able to see it and take pictures.
Well, and that's the exciting thing is like the strike's over and production has started and they're on location on set. But yeah, it's going to happen. And whether you see him or not can be a roll of the dice sometimes. But like these sites hopefully can hold back. But man, so Morena Baccarin has also confirmed she's returning as Vanessa. There's just a lot of he like tweeted something about some variants, his Dogpool, Kidpool, Lady Deadpool. This movie sounds Dogpool. It's a great looking dog with like his tongue.
It should be Pool.
There's Pool. Oh, like an actual pool?
Yeah, that's like
or is it
a little inflatable pool?
Is it a pool table maybe? Just walking around as over here. But all these people from the Deadpool movies and the Fox universe tied in with some MCU things. This is going to be fucking crazy if Mobius and the TVA are in it. I still think this movie will make a lot of money. And the break that we have waiting for this, it's going to build, and we'll see. But I'm super excited for
Geek Boner,
the next MCU thing, and it being R-rated.
Yeah, it should be good. Should be good, and the break will definitely help. The cameos will help. I think there's a lot of things that are going in this movie's favor that will potentially make it a good film.
Yeah, I just read another article where Sean Levy, the director, said that like the strike gave them time to actually look at it and work on some things and come back fresh, and so maybe it'll make it better. Maybe it'll make it better. Listener, let us know. What do you think? Do you like these spoiler set photos, or you want to go in unspoiled? Join the conversation. Join the Jock and Nerd Nation. It is our lovely Facebook group. Jock and Nerd. It's exclusive, closed just for our listeners. Lots of fun in there.
Yeah, go in there. Get to know everyone. Everyone that likes the same shit that you like.
Chop it up, Gat.
Yeah. Skibbity Ohio.
Get Skibbity Ohio in there, and we'll explain what all of this means. It's fucking nonsense. Okay, let's move on to a little bit of Star Wars news. There's a rumor out there that Jeff Schneider from the Hot Mic has said is he's starting to hear more, and it is the fact that the 4th season of The Mandalorian is going to be a movie.
Floppy Jock.
Oh, I didn't mean to hit that.
Like a directed Disney movie?
No, like a theatrical, like one of the Star Wars movies, maybe even the next one to come out.
He hit floppy
Jock. But
didn't mean to hit that.
Where do we leave off on the Mando, Imran?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. Season 4 was it was all about Bo-Katan and the man and getting
season 3, right?
So Bo-Katan becomes a Mandalorian again.
Yeah, and they get the planet back.
They get the planet back.
Yeah, and like Grogu and Mando weren't doing fuck all really.
Yeah, it wasn't really focused on them.
No.
Didn't they get the dark saber, or they had the dark saber? Or
yes, she has the dark saber. I thought
it's broken though.
Oh, they broke the dark saber. Man, I don't even remember.
Yeah, didn't like the clone break it?
I just remember that Law and Order episode where they're running around chasing droids, and the droid had a business card or something. That was great.
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
We had Jack
Lizzo
Black
in that one?
Yes, Rizzo and Jack Black. That was the one.
Lizzo.
The Rizzler? Is the Rizzler in that one?
Rizzo from Greece?
Yeah, that's who I meant.
Well, she got pregnant. Anyway.
Beauty school dropout. That was ruined your
we
old
all know.
plans.
Yes.
Look, is it because Pedro Pascal's star is rising? Do they want to capitalize? I heard that he was almost done playing Mando. Like he's
not even playing him. He's just voicing him.
Yeah, he just like records audio at home and emails it in and gets a paycheck at this point. Like we didn't even see his face. But would I love to see Mando and Grogu on the big screen? That could be fun. I don't know, Ruggs. What do you think?
Anything could be good. That's my my motto. Anything could be good if you have the
Is
right
that your
people.
motto?
That's his
Really?
motto.
When did that get established?
That's
that
not
was
what
your
I
motto?
remember. Your motto?
I've said that many times.
No, what has he ever said that
No,
in
the
Run?
motto is it's shit.
Yeah, I
It
think his
stinks.
motto is
Well,
this
mine-
sucks until I say it.
Yeah.
And then if I see
Everything
it, it's probably gonna
sucks
suck.
until I say it's good.
Here's his
Yeah.
motto.
That's my other motto. Yeah.
Fuck that show.
That's the motto.
Yeah, there's a lot of mottos. I got a lot of mottos.
Here's his motto.
But I always say that too. I always say, like, really, if you have the right people involved, you can really make anything good. So, do I think they have the right people? I'm a little bit dubious of that. But
Well, this is the Filoni verse now.
Yeah.
Full on.
He just
Filoni.
got a promotion. He's a CCO now.
the Filoni baloney is in full effect.
Here's your other motto.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
That's a good motto.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one. But I don't know if you can like condense a whole season into a movie, or you just tell a story.
Well, a lot of Mandalorian is filler, so you probably can.
That's
if you make
true.
like a 2-hour and 15-minute movie, will probably cover at least 3 episodes of Mando. Like usually in Mando, like the first episode's important, and then there's like
then the last two.
the last two, and then
Yeah.
everything else is just filler.
Yeah, them finding things to go find other things. to
Yeah, they
find
go on
another
like
thing.
quests, side quests, and then they get back to that last 2 episodes.
But we're talking about a movie that you got to watch like 3 seasons of television and 4 if you count Boba Fett, which you have to even start to get to the story. But I don't know.
I mean, you could start out and say like Mandalore has been reclaimed and they're trying to restart their world.
Oh yeah.
And or you can do a where they discover the history of Mandalore, and man, I don't know, it could be one of those things. If you write it good, it could be good.
Well, they need. Here's my quick 2 cents on it. They need the real money in entertainment is making big popular movies.
Yeah.
And maybe they're looking at it and going, we don't really have anything other than Mandalorian that's really popular. So let's throw this on the big screen because this is the only thing that people usually really like.
And
it'll make some money.
right now, it's really strange that they don't really have like an announced plan of movies ish. They did announce a bunch of those movies.
Which movies?
The Rey? They're making one with Rey in the future and a Jedi Council, and I was like, I don't know, that seems weird. With Daisy Ridley, and then there was going to be one in the past. I forgot they announced a couple of things, but there's no dates or any kind of anything for these, so I feel like they probably got to announce something soon. But Mando's a big hit for them. People fucking watch that shit.
Although the last one I think was not as big a hit, but still.
What was the last
Season 3.
Oh, season 3. Yeah. The first 2 seasons were a little bit better. Man, Andor as a movie would have been amazing, but I like that the way it is. I think that's been pushed back also. I think a lot of things got pushed back to 2025, like Daredevil and Andor. So we're gonna have to wait for a lot of things.
They need to level off from all the freaking losses that they've had.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. All right, before we get to that, I want to talk about some Spider-Man shit.
okay.
Of
course you do.
Because I love Spider-Man. And this all goes back to the comment you made a little while ago, Anthony, a couple of episodes ago, about why No Way Home ended the way it did, according to the book, The Reign of the MCU, which I fucking finished.
Oh shit.
Yay, me.
Congrats, you finished a book.
I know. I can't believe I read a fucking book. I got to the end. And I was like, holy shit, it's over. Look at this. It doesn't hurt that it was shorter than I thought because there's like a big fucking appendix and citations. I thought there was more, and then it just ended. But, we're talking about the future of the MCU and rumors of a Spider-Man 4. First of all, and I love the way No Way Home ended, right? We sort of got a 3-part origin story. And now Peter is on his own. He's got his own cloth handmade costume. He's just living in a shitty apartment. Nobody knows who he is. He's going to have to find a job, make rent. We can start the adult Spider-Man story. But why? And this should have occurred to me. But Anthony, in the book, what is the reason for it ending that way?
Well, it ended that way because when production ended, the MCU did not have a contract to continue making movies with Sony. So it ended in a way where if they don't renew that contract, Sony could make their own movies and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know anybody and no one knows him, so they could do their own thing. Or if they ended up having, some more negotiations and making it and extending their deal, then it also gives them the creative freedom to continue in the MCU. So they could do it basically ended in a way that you could take it in any direction you wanted because it was a clean slate.
That never occurred to me, and it should have. It makes a lot of sense because of the rights. Remember, there was a time when Tom Holland was like, well, I'm leaving Marvel as Spider-Man. It's been great. Like, we had that whole thing, and then he came back.
After Spider-Man 2, or the Far From Home.
For like a month, he was out. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, he wasn't going to be in the MCU anymore.
Yeah, he was going to be Sony's Spider-Man, and that was crazy. But we don't know what the contract is, and people have been talking about Spider-Man 4. But there's some comments in some interviews he's given that are weird to me. So this one, he is at a press conference with the Critics' Choice Association. He says, quote, all I can say is that we've been actively engaging in conversations about what it could potentially look like for a fourth rendition of my character. Whether or not we can find a way to do justice to the character is another thing. He says he feels very protective over Spider-Man and that he was lucky the movies got more successful. He wants to protect his legacy. But this is crazy because all that says to me is that, like, there's no Spider-Man 4 right now. Like, they're just talking about it. We're not going to see it for years, if anything.
Is this Disney or Sony? This is just any of them.
This, I think, would be, I don't know. Can a part 4 then, would Sony put out a part 4? Would that could be crazy.
Well, it would be like a part 4 name only. Like, it would just be like the next Spider-Man movie.
Right. They would call it, something else, but it would be Spider-Man 4. Like, we expect to see him in the Secret Wars and the Avengers movies, but his contract isn't out there anymore. We don't know what they actually signed up for. So
how old is Tom Holland now?
Yeah, is he? That's a good question.
Oh, that is a good question. Probably like early, like 24, maybe. Let's see.
27.
Oh wow, very very baby face.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah, he doesn't come off as a guy yet.
I mean, what he's done with the character is decent, and like, I only want to see him continue it just for the continuity. Like,
I feel like he's Spider-Man.
Is this Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing in that book was interesting is all the rewriting. In fact, first of all, oh my God, there were so many great stories about No Way Home. It was supposed to come out before Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
They were going to use America Chavez. That doesn't happen.
Right.
So for some reason, Ned has magic power, knows how to use magic. They had to write that shit.
Right.
And then apparently, like, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield didn't even sign on to the production until they were in production halfway through. And then they had to just write a third act, like, as they're shooting the movie.
That's just so bad.
It was crazy. Like, even the bad guys
terrible.
were signing on one at a time. And they
contracts and business suits and all that stuff dictating what happens on screen. And people are acting like, oh, this is just so inspired. Yeah, it's inspired by fucking business.
Oh, it is. And like, Defoe didn't want to do it if it was just a cameo. So they gave him something beefier. But they're literally, as these old guys are signing back on and they're getting Toby and Andrew, they're just rewriting everything as they're fucking shooting the movie.
Yeah. And it looks like it.
I mean, I think they pulled it off.
No, I thought it was pretty good.
Right?
I think they pulled it off.
For the most part.
I said it since when we watched and reviewed that movie. If it wasn't for that 3 Spider-Mans on screen, like, that movie was no good. I didn't think it was a good movie. Other than the fact that you got those moments that were just fun to see all them together. But yeah, I didn't really like that movie that much. So.
I mean, you got to see the wrap-ups of those other 2 Spider-Mans kind of stories, which was amazing.
You gave Andrew Garfield a nice send-off.
Yeah.
A moment. You got to see Toby again, who was the Spider-Man that he's like, the first one, the first real Spider-Man. So.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I loved that movie, and that was an all-time experience in the movie theater, seeing that.
It was.
I have no qualms.
It was up there with Endgame, man. From the minute Charlie Cox comes on, people are fucking cheering.
Oh yeah, people were going nuts.
All the way through the end, and I still remember that moment when fucking Andrew Garfield pops out of the portal. It was so fucking, so fucking great. I was like, holy shit, they're doing it. There's another. So he just said, I want to protect Spider-Man. I'm lucky. We got to find a good reason. He's basically, I don't want to make one for the sake of making one. But then there's another article from another interview with THR, and he's done this recent Apple TV Plus series called The Crowded Room. And he says things like, quote, I want to do things that scare me, that make me uncomfortable. He's like, I've never done anything like this before. I got so used to the Marvel machine and the safety blanket of Spider-Man, feeling like I was protected. So possibly saying maybe he's done with these kind of roles. But here's the thing. Tom Holland, all you fucking have right now is Spider-Man.
He's tried a bunch of shit and none of it works.
None of it's worked. Crowded Room right now, 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Uncharted is maybe the only other thing that was kind of big. He did that movie Cherry with the Russo brothers production. Nothing else that he's done has been any good. So just take the fucking paycheck, bro. And
I don't think that's what he's saying in that.
No,
I just think what he's saying is basically, I want to try things.
Yeah.
It's not saying I want to try things doesn't also mean I don't want to do the Marvel movies.
I guess that's true. You could be. I mean, he wants to try things that are outside of his comfort zone.
A lot of actors are like that. They they want to do weird roles. They want to do all sorts of stuff. This isn't.
Well, that's what happens when you do a movie and you become known as Spider-Man or whatever.
Yeah,
and you have to like differentiate yourself and get out of that pigeonhole,
right?
And that becomes a focus for you because now you feel like, oh, now your whole mindset on everybody thinks I'm only Spider-Man and what's that? But like the fact that you're associated with Spider-Man at all, look at Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He came back into Batman in his 60s.
Yeah.
Like, so you said, fuck Batman. He doesn't want to be Batman. Then he went and did a shitload of movies. Yeah, it's kind of fun to be Batman. I get paid a lot.
I mean,
he went and did it.
He's Beetlejuice again, too. That Beetlejuice 2 coming out. So, but
you got to sow your oats.
He's young, but I think he's got to pick better projects. I don't know. No, he's just in like not good things. Aside from Spider-Man is the problem. Okay, let's move on. I want to ask you what you think about some of these comments from Bob Iger that made waves a couple weeks ago. He was at the New York Times Dealbook Summit and talking about Captain Marvel. Bob Iger said, quote, "The Marvels was shot during COVID. There wasn't as much supervision on the set, so to speak, where we have executives that are really looking over what's being done day after day after day."
Bullshit.
Essentially, he just threw like the whole production under the bus and said that executives, really? That's what it would have made?
Dailies. They have to be
they're seeing it. Even if Feige's not on set, he's seen it. But really, you think more executives was the fucking names why the movie was bad?
So you think that Disney's cutting checks for millions of dollars on shit that they have no idea what's going on? They just don't care. It's not that they don't know. It's they don't get. They're trying to like say that they have no idea that this is bad. This is lack of supervision. Maybe you've empowered the wrong people to make the wrong decisions, but that's a different story, I think.
I just find like for Iger, these are like incredibly tone deaf comments when he's usually good about talking about his talent and stuff. Like
because there is no actual solution to this problem.
This is like something Zaslav would say, and then he'd be like, "I'm shelving the movie and taking a tax write-off. Fuck it."
I think what he's trying to imply is that he wasn't really like this all happened under like weird times with the other guy. What's his name? Chapek.
Chapek, yeah.
Like this was all. I think he's just trying to put everything that's like bad in this box of like, hey, there's a reason for this thing. Our house wasn't in order, but now we're back and our house is in order. I think that's what he's trying to imply here. I don't know that it's all based on supervision because there's been some decent stuff that came out. I agree that it's probably harder to make films during the COVID. It was probably a pain in the ass for people, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
it's a weird comment.
It's a weird comment. Some people saying this is like a dig at Nia DaCosta, the director.
Kind of sounds like it.
And there was another hit piece by Hollywood Reporter going after her, saying she wasn't at the premiere and all. I don't know why people going after Nia DaCosta. This article also points.
I mean, the movie wasn't good.
It wasn't. It was fun. I mean, it was fun. Wasn't great. It obviously box office.
I don't know what Nia DaCosta's role in it was because this movie, if anyone that's seen it, you can see that it's been pretty hacked up.
Yeah.
So either she filmed some shit and it wasn't good and they felt like they had to do it, or other people got a hold of the movie and wanted to change it into something else. We don't really know.
I mean, this article points out Ant-Man and the Wasp underperformed. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny underperformed.
I just feel like all the things that I hear about working for Marvel is incongruent to what they're saying.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
So all these creative people that want to have freedom, they're like, we can't do anything with Marvel. They're like, they're up my ass about everything. And then they're like, oh, well, we were so loosey-goosey that things just went awry. So who's right? So it makes you think about that. So I think to me, Bob Iger's doing damage control, and that's what it is. I think that they do have ultimate control about what they do, and all of these creative directors. I mean, they're prevising everything to the 10th degree. There's so many boxes they put people in, and then they act like, oh, we had no idea we were doing this.
It's a machine.
There's no way.
You think?
And if it is, then that fucking thing is a fucking mess, and you should burn it down and start over again.
I mean, are they going to micromanage like Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy? They probably wouldn't. They'd be like, get the fuck out of here. They'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
But I think that Ryan Reynolds has got huge balls.
Yeah.
And he could swing his dick around and be like, we're just going to do what we want to do. And then let's see what happens. Like he'll, I don't think he actually has to play nice with them. He is a commodity, right?
Yeah. I think
they need that.
He can get away with doing whatever he wants. But
the fact that they brought him into the fold of Marvel at large, that's a Disney product, and what is all of the PG-13
and let him do an R-rated movie. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So anyway, I don't know. I just thought that was weird comments from Bob Iger, who's usually good about that, but they got a lot of cleaning up to do over there.
Lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, that movie, like they stopped reporting the box office on the Marvels early. It's a big bomb. It's a big bomb.
It's not good. I think it's going to finish around 300 million.
Oh my god!
It's a 260
I think this next article that you're going to bring up is pretty much the button on this story here.
I want to share some audio for this last thing in the news. We are going to be hearing. It's about a minute long. It's a clip from this podcast called "The Comic Book Palace Reborn," that is run by a 30-year comic store owner, Glenn O'Leary. And this clip from this episode kind of went viral. I'm going to play it. And I want to get your comments to set the scene. He is in front of his in a store in front of a bunch of comic books.
Most of these new writers don't have the love of comics like these older writers had. And all they care about is, how can I put myself in the book? No, we don't care what you would do if you were Iron Man. We don't care who you are. You're writing Tony Stark. You're not writing yourself in a book. If that's the case, write your own comic with you in it. No one will read it because nobody cares. People grew up growing up loving Peter Parker, loving Miles Morales, loving all these Captain America. We don't need you to put your input in it. Just write Steve Rogers. Don't write Steve Rogers. What would Steve Rogers be if I was Steve Rogers? That's not how it works. But that's again how most of these new people write nowadays. That's why most of the stuff is shit. Because we don't care what you would do, because we don't care about your life whatsoever. Just write a book, get paid for what you do, get paid for what you're supposed to be doing, and make it a good story.
Wow. So he got a lot of shit, but then a lot of people coming to support him.
Well, he's right.
Yes. What do we steal?
Wait, is that Rug Boy's brother or uncle?
Yeah, that's me. That's really me. I own this comic book shop.
I think
is that Rug Boy doing another voice?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. No, that's Glenn O'Leary. Owns the Comic Book Palace in Massachusetts. Ruggs, comments? Is he right?
I mean, I've said all of this 1,000 times, right? So,
I mean, I get.
Well, you don't like Dan Slott's work?
Yeah,
I thought you were a big Dan Slott guy.
Well, Dan Slott, he to his credit, he writes Peter Parker. He just includes other characters, too many other characters, and takes the focus off Peter.
Smartly, I give him credit for he didn't make
I've
it.
been saying this a long time. You never gave me any props when I said it.
He did.
Well, Imran's the type of guy that if someone else says it, then he believes
said
it.
this?
But if his friends say
Smart
it,
boy.
he just ignores it and goes, "Oh yeah, sure."
All right. I have a slack hole. I have 6 teeth. Okay. I understand it's hard to listen to a man who's 3 feet tall and
But then-
made of cotton stuffing. But
If another guy says it who sounds similar, then I'm
Yeah,
all
right.
on board. I'll give him credit for he didn't make it political or anything, right? He just kind of stated a fact, and it makes a lot of sense, right?
So he's talking about like writers and new comics. Is that what he's talking
And
about?
a lot of new comic writers were came out against him, and a lot of them came out for him. But the point being, write the character, right? What the character would do makes sense.
you heard what happened with Kelly Sue DeConnick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is the one who wrote Captain Marvel and all. So she was just like, listen, we're tired of these old dudes trying to dictate what we do. If you don't like my book, don't buy my book. She's like, the comic book industry is healthy. We'll survive without you. And then a month later, after all the friggin' guys stopped reading comics, she put out this thing comics are in trouble. Sounding the alarm, oh my God. So it's there once was a bunch of people who wanted to escape and read superhero stories and kind of follow these characters. And those characters have, even though they still exist, they're I think number one, all of the great ideas have been done. So there is that thing of there's an envelope of time that you can pretty much cover the whole gamut, and then you run out of ideas without starting to retread similar themes.
Sure.
So there's that. But then there's also the fact that a lot of people that are writing these things, they came into comics from the movies. This is a generation of people growing up writers that never actually read comics and only read them for research, and they do it begrudgingly, and they want to see how much they could change the medium instead of embracing the medium that it is. So I do think there's something to that, but there's also good stuff being written all the time. There's independent people coming up, writing their own characters and writing great stories that are not infringing upon established canon or anything like that are great. So it's not there's not good new writers out there. It's just that there's a mentality towards there's no reverence for the characters at all. They're just kind of do whatever they want with it. And it's crazy.
I mean, there's inherent character aspects to people like Batman, Daredevil, Tony Stark, right? But is there not room for them to change or grow as a character instead of?
I mean, yeah, you obviously have to try and keep it with the times, I guess, but within reason.
Right.
It has to be with it. You can't just do an about face. I mean, they've done about faces and gotten press for it.
Yeah.
And then they think that getting press and getting magazine articles written about it means it's good.
Yeah.
Because people are talking about it, but it doesn't equate to real success. It doesn't equate to good stories even. It just equates for because you get press, getting press because you come up with a gimmick. I mean, comics have been making gimmicks for years. Remember the chromium covers? Remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
So they've been using that formula, but every once in a while you'll find people like Jim Shooter and all these guys who really fucking wanted to do a stat. I mean, he made his own new universe in Marvel because he wanted to try and start something that was and then he went over to Valiant and actually created a universe that has continuity where everything makes sense and there's a set of rules that everyone plays by.
Yeah.
So there's guys like that who really love the medium and care about that stuff. So, I mean, there's plenty of great writers, but whatever. I mean, it's not the best time for comics. We all can agree on that. The stores are closing. They're still mining stuff from the 80s for these movies.
Yeah.
And when they do mine new stuff, it's tragedy.
Anthony, what are your thoughts? Should a writer, if you're hired, write the character or as a creative, you always kind of want to put a little bit of yourself into everything you do. Is there a balance?
I mean, I haven't been reading new comics lately. I feel like what this guy's saying, there's probably some truth to that. There's also a lot of generalization to it.
Yeah.
We'd have to listen to like
the whole thing.
The entire podcast,
it's out of context, sure.
So it's tough to really say what he's truly getting at. I mean, there's at the end of the day, you're writing another character, right? You're writing a character that's been created by someone else, and you have to honor that character's origin and who they are, while also incorporating new thoughts, new ideas. It has to all kind of flow together and make sense. I don't know that you should exclusively write a character to please like fanboys. I think you write the character that's within the confines of what the established person is, and then take it in the direction that you feel this character would go in based on pre-established
their history,
history of the character. So, I mean, there's a balance. I mean, I think it's a big job if you're a writer to get one of these characters. I don't know how much it pays, but when you get something that's not your IP, there are some limitations, right? You can't just do anything.
So, I mean, this isn't nothing new. Like, the first guy I think of this is Frank Miller. Like, he does Daredevil, he makes it darker, then he does The Dark Knight and just pushes it. And but he stays in the vein of Batman.
So Batman isn't this thing that was just fully realized when it came out.
Right.
But this is the thing that you have to always respect and understand, is that it is so hard to have something that strikes a chord with people to the point where it has a fan base for years and years and years. We talked about Godzilla last week. Like, to create, there's a certain DNA to that, whatever you've created that has somehow caught, the attention of people.
Yeah.
And to completely ignore that or just use it as basically a marketing tool so you can like tell whatever story you want to, that is kind of in a blasphemous is the only word I could think of.
Yeah.
It's like you're spitting in the face of this kind of like miracle that happened, that like this character caught fire. It became like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for example.
Yeah.
Like, who knew that was going to, like, there's a magic there.
Yeah.
There was the time, the weirdness of it, the interest in ninjas, all that stuff. The fact that they could kind of keep the essence going for such a long time, it's great. And they come in and they tried to do some weird stuff in the newer ones, and it's fine. They didn't deviate that far. They're always trying to stick somewhere in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key.
Yeah.
It's like you can't, like, the Punisher, they've completely messed up the Punisher now. They've completely gone away from the Punisher because they think the Punisher is bad.
Right.
They've somehow figured out a way to make, I mean, the Punisher's always been bad, but that's not what that character embodies, right? The Punisher embodies the fact that the police can't fucking do it. Somebody has to do it.
Right.
What the police won't do. So, and that's why he exists. But they, Marvel's now changed the symbol. They've changed this. They changed that. They changed the whole storyline of the character because they're trying to please this market that doesn't exist for the Punisher. So it's just weird.
The irony is, when creating these characters, if these writers didn't put themselves in it, we wouldn't have had a Superman or a Spot. Like, you don't think Stan Lee and Ditko and Jack Kirby were putting themselves in these comic books? We wouldn't have Miss Marvel or Miles Morales. But then once the character is established, you have this.
There's rules you have to play by.
You have the canon.
I mean, this is like, everybody knows this, but nobody does it.
It's true. It's
like having a belief. You believe it, but you never would fucking do it. And it's the way it is.
As far as modern comics, the most recent thing, I bought a couple of Amazing Spider-Man trade paperbacks with the new storyline Zeb Wells writing. I just wanted to see what the fuck's happening with Spider-Man. Can I catch up? So there were like 5-issue each trade paperback. And I'm going to tell you, it's not that good. I do enjoy right now what they've done with Peter Parker is, I don't know what happened, but everybody hates him. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, they're not his friends. He's like broke. He can barely pay rent. Mary Jane is dating some other dude. She may even be engaged to this other guy. He's got no girl. He's got to work for Osborn. And the writing is so decompressed that frustrates me.
Like, that doesn't sound bad.
No.
Yeah, what you described
terribly.
sounds like Peter.
That sounds good, but I'll tell you
on paper.
On paper.
You didn't do a very good job shitting on that.
It's okay, but here's the thing. The second trade paperback that consists of 5 issues has this storyline that you could have told in one fucking issue. And they fucking stretch it out. I'm like, really? Fucking 5 issues? It was annoying as fuck. But
that sounds terrible.
When I found out where they had them, I was
that's
like,
a better way of shit on something.
Yeah, it kind of came off 50-50. It's Spider-Man after all, and even when
Imran shits on something, it actually sounds like praise.
I was like, that's actually pretty good.
Imran, that's actually pretty good.
The concept,
that didn't sound shitty at all.
Wiped everything. So I was happy in the beginning with the concept, but then I'm not. After the third trade paperback, I was like, nah, I'm done. I can't. I don't. I didn't enjoy it. I don't know why.
You know, Ruggs touched on it, but I can only imagine how difficult it is to continually write stories for characters that have been around for, 60, 70 years?
Yeah, right?
And have a new storyline with a new comic come out monthly. I feel like that's pretty difficult. So you're going to get some trash. Yeah. I think these are characters that are, what we ask of these characters is to have new stories every month.
But keep it the same. But give me these stories.
Yeah, don't, right? So like, I think at some point you run out of stuff.
Yeah, I think that John Byrne, he tried to like reset Spider-Man and start from issue 1 again. And just actually use the actual issues, but just update things.
Oh yeah.
And that didn't last long, but I was actually on board for that. I was like, okay, this is a good way to like revisit those old stories that were written in their time, but you just you just modernize them with the language and the style of clothing that they're wearing, and some this and that.
Same story.
But you're not going to make Peter into something that he's not. You're going to stick to that character. He's a nerd.
Yeah.
He's, into photography. He's into, whatever. He lives with his aunt, whatever. So, like, you don't deviate that far, but you can bring things into the modern age. You can reframe some of these things with some of the stuff. But, like, you still have to stay true to the character. I think that's what the problem is. I think that they... I feel like the way to write it as well. It's like Dan Slott's ways of writing this. The Zeb Wells sounds terrible that it's decompressed like that.
Yeah, that was a little annoying. You know what I am looking forward to? I might actually
Is the art good?
The art was decent. I think was shit, I don't even remember. I have it sitting here.
I feel like that the art's not good anymore either.
What I'm looking forward to that I've heard it sounds pretty good is the new Ultimate Spider-Man. They're rebooting the Ultimate Universe. So the cover for one of these variant covers shows Peter and Mary Jane are married. They have 2 teenage children, a boy and a girl. They look like they're like 15 years old, like 12 and 15. So this is seeing a father, Peter Parker, still be Spider-Man could be kind of interesting. They pulled it off on Superman and Lois really well. Seeing a dad fucking Clark Kent Superman they did a great job. So if we could do some of that, I might be in. I might check it out.
See, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see a Spider-Man series about New York.
Okay.
And you just basically like the storyline would be like they decided that like, look, we need people to cover certain cities. You need to, use your jurisdiction. This is what you're in charge. Spider-Man, you got all of Manhattan and New York. And like, you just make it about New York. And you just make it about all the stuff. And then every once in a while, you can go off into the Avengers and do some stuff. But kind of like really not just be in a comic book version. Like try and get down to like the stories of the people. So you use Peter as the conduit to other stories.
Wow.
And it would be cultural. There'd be realism to it. But then obviously you'd have the heroics and all that other
like
stuff.
Like the city would be like a character almost.
Yes.
I liked it. Oh, I like it. Dan Slott, get it done. I'll buy
it. No, not Dan Slott.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
All right, let's take a break here. We're going to play some promos and come back and talk about The return of John Woo to Hollywood. Oh my God, right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We'll get you back to your regularly scheduled podcast in just a minute. But we wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Blake on this highly produced advertisement.
That's right. It's the History of Bad Ideas, a.k.a. Hobie. You can find us on Twitter at Bad Ideas Podcast and on Facebook at the History of Bad Ideas. But if you like a podcast roundtable with 3 to 5 guests, usually every week, depending on sick leave, talking about all things geek, including movies,
TV. I ain't getting paid for this shit.
Blake bitching about something and ranting, and comic books and anything else that we can think of. We have a top 5 list every week, along with a box office news, and somehow we have listeners, so they send us some feedback we answer every week. You can find us on iTunes,
Stitcher, Facebook,
Spotify,
and any good podcast app, because if you can't find us on that podcast app, it's not a good podcast app.
Damn straight. Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage since you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So whether you know the comics and want to know how all these games work, or you know the games and want to find out where all this craziness came from, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy this show, this is a great time to give back and join our fan club on Patreon. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
You can support the show on a monthly or annual basis. We appreciate all the love and support we get from our listeners. You get access to things like a exclusive bonus RSS feed where the shows come out early, instant reactions to movies. There will be some bonus chatter this week. We got an extra movie review. Patreon pick is up there. A lot of bonus content going back many years over there to enjoy. You can also get Discord access and hang out with us on our monthly Discord hangout. This month's Discord, December 2023. It's this week. It's Thursday, December 14th.
Oh, shit.
Right? You guys going to be there? You're going to be there. Who's going to be there?
This week?
I'll do it.
This
I'll
week,
do
this
it.
Thursday.
I might be able
Pop
to be
in.
there.
Little pop in. We love when Anthony does the pop in. Always fun to hang out with our listeners, get to know them. And there's a tier where you can pick any movie you want for us to watch and review. Lots of fun stuff over on the Patreon. Check it out. Link in the episode description. Okay, it's review time. This week, we are going to be discussing the return of John Woo. Yes, there's a John Woo movie in the theaters. John Woo directed this movie called Silent Night. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Now, this movie is not to be confused with, I think there's 3 other movies that are called Silent Night that came out like recently. So you want to get the right one. You want Woo's Silent Night. And like I said,
yeah, isn't there like a Silent Night
there's a horror
too?
movie. There's a Violent Night horror movie. There's a Silent Night from like 2012 and there's so many movies called Silent Night. So kind of a generic title, fitting. Well, you'll see. And like I mentioned, this is John Woo's first Hollywood American movie since 2003's Paycheck 20 years ago with the Ben Affleck. Wow. It's also his first movie in general in like 6 years. He went back to China and did a bunch of movies there.
Really?
Yes. So, I mean, of course, the real quick rundown, we have 80s action Hollywood John Woo doing things like A Better Tomorrow, The Killer, Hard Boiled, Fantastic Things. Then he gives us Hard Target with Van Damme, Broken Arrow, Face Off, a couple of other things. Oh, Mission Impossible 2. And then he goes back to China and does things like Red Cliff and a couple other things. And then I guess hasn't made a movie in the last 6 years. And this is his comeback. We'll see how it goes. On Rotten Tomatoes, currently, this movie sitting at a 60% critics tomato meter out of 98 reviews, 5.7 out of 10. 50% for the audience. Is that
Ooh, they don't like it.
Is that how that breaks down? I could not find the budget of this movie or the number of theaters it's in because I feel like it's not in a lot of theaters. Like Godzilla -1 is in way more theaters than this movie.
Right. They had one showing that day.
Yeah, and like even on my app, like the theater closest to me had 2 showings on the Thursday, and then the next 3 days it wasn't even at that theater. It was at another AMC. I was like, what the fuck? It's very weird, right? So this opened the same day as Godzilla -1 last week, December 1st was its release. It opens to a mere $3 million. And currently it's sitting worldwide at 6.2 million.
Wow.
It's 5.8 domestic right now, but it opened to 3 million. So if I was to guess the budget, it's not a lot, obviously. And this is essentially an independent film for the John Woo. It's his own production company. I believe he funded this himself to get it done. So that explains kind of the small budget. Directed by John Woo and written by a dude named Robert Archer Lynn. As far as the cast, kind of a tight cast. You have Joel Kinnaman as the lead character, whose name you don't find out until the very end. It's Brian Godlock. I'm sure there's a meaning there. Playing his wife is Catalina Sandina Moreno. Playing a detective, Kid Cudi. I don't know what his real name is. He's listed as Kid Cudi. And playing the bad guy, Playa, Harold Torres, and there's a couple other people you don't really need to know. But that's your main 4. Music also by Marco Beltrami. This Anthony, what happens in this R-rated 1 hour 44-minute return of the legendary John Woo?
Yeah, this is about a family man, I think in somewhere in Texas.
California.
That is
Los Angeles.
I thought
No, I think it's in Texas.
Oh, you think it's in
Yeah.
Texas? I know it was shot in Mexico City, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I think it's Texas.
I thought it was Los
but anyways,
Angeles. Okay.
it's about a family man playing with his son on his front yard and his neighborhood, and specifically his son gets caught up in crossfire between gang members. His son dies. He gets pretty injured in trying to chase them down. The main character, played by Joel Kinnaman, and then he goes on a one-man vigilante revenge quest to avenge his son as his marriage disintegrates. And it's a silent film. Well, not completely a silent film, but there's very, very limited dialogue.
I forgot to mention, it is dialogue-free. There's sounds, there's music, there's grunting, there's some cheats. There's occasional whispered words, but that nobody has any lines. Did you say in your thing he gets shot in his throat in your plot thing?
No, but that's why you can't tell.
Right. In the beginning, you see him
But that's pointless because nobody talks.
chasing down some gangsters after his kid gets shot, and I don't know what he thought he was going to do, but he essentially gets shot in the throat and cannot talk anymore. And that means everybody can't talk. Anthony, anyways, what did you think? John Woo, were you excited to see a new John Woo movie in the theater, first of all?
I apologize. There's a dog barking in the background,
Logan.
so you're gonna have to get used to that. But when this came out, when the trailers for this came out, we were full into action movie reviewing, and we had just reviewed some classic John Woo movies. You know, we had Hard Boiled in the all-time finals. So this was we were fully John Woo'd in, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. John Woo doing a silent action film for the first time, returning to the U.S. with an action film, doing a silent movie. Like, there's a lot of intrigue here. I was relatively excited, Then, obviously, some time passed. Godzilla -1 came out the same week, so I forgot that it even came out. So my expectations were muted a little bit because I just forgot that this movie was happening. Right. And then, obviously, we saw it a week later, and I had a little bit of a lot of the reviews. A lot of the feedback from people that had seen it were making it over to even my stratosphere.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit more tempered in terms of being excited for this film. So,
and how did it hit you at the end?
Oh, this is not John Woo's best film. I would describe it as, this is a movie where I don't know why the gimmick is in place, because it really doesn't actually add to the film. I feel like it actually detracts from the film.
Okay.
And with the it's a movie that we've seen millions of times. It's your classic death wish, death sentence,
Taken.
revenge film where the guy is wronged by a family man is wronged and takes the law into his own hands. It's The Punisher. It's everything we've seen before. But I don't feel like it's done all that well here. It's not done any better than things we've seen before, and the middle of the movie really drags. Like I mentioned earlier, the no dialogue thing detracts from the movie. Like there's a lot of scenes where it's just like people would be talking.
Why isn't he
I don't
talking?
understand why no one is speaking. Like, why is this the way it is? The reliance on the gimmick really, to me, hurts the film. And then the action is good, but it's not like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And there's not nearly enough of it. And then I just found it very weird at the end. There's a weird tonal thing where like the main character's hunting down the bad guy in this, this abandoned warehouse type thing. And like the bad guy's like slow dancing with the girl.
Yeah.
Like it's just a lot of weird stylistic choices. I did not like this movie. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but I was just like, wow, I expected a lot more out of this.
Yeah, Ruggs, how about you? Opening thoughts. Great John Woo.
John Woo at a time was such an artist and a revolutionary person who would bring something new to the table. And I felt like that maybe he was under pressure to do something new. So he tried this out. I don't think it was a good experiment because, well, yeah, I admire the fact they try to make a movie without any dialogue, but the reason for Joel Kinnaman's character to not talk, he was shot in the throat, he can't talk. Great, he doesn't talk.
Right.
But now to have all the other characters not talk and you just don't buy it. It's just like, no, you have to say something. Like, the detective doesn't say, like, nobody says anything.
Yeah.
So it just saps some of the power out of the movie. So just on a basic level, it's already being taxed. And by doing this kind of convention. Then on top of it, if you compare it to other John Woo movies, there's better action in other John Woo movies. A lot of the stuff that you're seeing here, he's done in other movies. Like when he's firing and he's spinning out in the car and shooting, that's in Mission Impossible too.
Yeah.
The idea of this movie is a very Punisher. We've seen all of this revenge movie stuff before. And I think Joel Kinnaman would be a great Punisher.
Yeah.
I think he's huge. He knows how to handle weapons. He's good in the fight. He could be, and this could have been that movie. This could have been like a Punisher, but I feel like it fizzles out. It doesn't crescendo at the end where you think it's going to like kind of be this great ending. And it kind of like, he gets like Swiss cheesed by a heroin addict girl.
Yeah.
And then the last bad guy basically like barely finishes him off himself. So yeah, it just didn't add up to like a good experience. Like it was fine. Like I thought this movie was going to be released on like Netflix or something.
Right.
And if I'd have to get up and try and find this movie and schedule my life around it because it's only playing one time.
It's a perfectly serviceable Netflix film. Absolutely.
I just think that, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's very lacking. It's you know what? It's kind of like it's got a lot of action for like what it cost, probably.
Yeah,
but it's not very memorable. Like there's not like you've seen better stuff in John Wick.
Yeah,
you've seen the same thing done in so many other movies better or just as good. So it's weird.
The thing is, okay, my opening thoughts real quick. I was really excited. I'm excited to see a new John Woo movie and came away slightly, disappointed. It's not as much as a comeback as it's like a warm up for him, getting his feet wet again. I appreciated the dialogue free attempt. It is absolutely an experiment. It is gimmicky. But having said that, the storytelling is there. Like you didn't need the dialogue to follow the story. Yes, the story is a very predictable, straightforward thing we've seen anymore. Where you do see signature John Woo is in there's a lot of melodrama that he loves to do, like focusing on a tear and then like
changes to a bullet.
yeah, and then that cuts to like a bullet dropping, all that shit. And the action scenes, it's got car chases, it's got shootouts, it's got car chase shootouts. The fight scene in the kitchen I thought was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was cool.
A lot of long takes like up the staircase. So
It's a fake wonder.
Yeah, you see that it's Joel Kinnaman doing this. There is explosion. There's a guy on fire. There's a fucking parrot for no reason. No doves, but there's
gotta have a bird.
There's a bird in there. And this is a good example of like what you mean when people are like show don't tell. But yeah, on the negative side, like his character is the only character that got any character development. You didn't know shit about anybody else. And there are times where I love the gimmick, but even I was like, why didn't they say nothing? There's another movie on Hulu called No One Will Save You that also is dialogue free except for one sentence. Makes a little more sense in that one because it's just a girl in a house with an alien. But then there's a point where she goes to like the police station and like nobody says anything. And I'm like, wouldn't you have said something there? So if you have the rules of this gimmick, it's hard inherently at some point. If you don't have a reason, you're going to be like, why the fuck did that guy not say nothing? Especially when you're fighting him. I expected one of the gangsters to be like, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Like when she's like texting him for no apparent
Oh my God, she's
reason.
standing 3 feet behind him.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, the thing is, Imran, all the things you listed as like positives, those should be a given in an action movie. Like that's not really a positive.
Right.
That's
Like,
just what John Woo does.
Like she could have been texting him from the car or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Why is she
Like,
in the kitchen?
She's
and
standing
he's
right
like,
behind him.
Yeah. Yeah. That
It's
doesn't
annoying.
make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And what stinks too is because you have no dialogue, you're kind of cutting yourself off, and then like we're spending so much time with this character in the middle act, and like we don't need to. Like there's no dialogue, so we can't. We're not really learning a ton more. And I know it's show don't tell, but like we know, like we're already motivated.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to see him drive into further Like I want to see him kill people.
You just want him to get to it.
I already have connected to the character because I wouldn't want my son to die.
Right.
I understand. So like we don't need to like see him further devolve into like this madness and then like do this like training where he's like we don't need all this. It just like if you're gonna do this gimmick, then the movie has to move faster.
Yeah. And
even though it's less than 2 hours, I felt like it was really fucking slow.
Shit.
It should have been
because of the
70
gimmick.
minutes long.
And I mean,
Right.
I'll agree. The payoff is not that great when you get to
The
it.
payoff is kind of, and then it's weird because like at the end, like I mentioned, they're like doing this slow dance thing, and like it's kind of like becoming face-offy, but like the whole movie prior to that was actually like very serious.
They
like,
grounded,
very grounded. And then they're doing, and then like the end when he's dying, and you look at the balloons, and he's like seeing visions in the balloons. I'm like, what is
Oh my
going
God,
on
he
here?
sees the future that him and his son could have had. It
But
was
like,
so
why,
weird.
why is that in the like
So
in the
weird.
balloon? Like that's just such a weird choice.
Wait, so does he die at the end? Is that what we were?
Yes.
Yeah, he dies. Okay.
he dies.
does die.
He
has
dies,
that
but
letter.
then he's like sees the life he could have
So,
had.
and
with
I
his
mean,
son.
as far like there's dialogue cheats, like the text messages, there's police scanner radio,
but
there's
it's not used well.
no, there's TV news, and then they scroll a letter at the end of the movie. You got to read a fucking letter, and also she did whisper to him. She was like, "It's okay," like she said shit. So I'm like, either don't do having any words, or what are you slipping in? So what are you doing? Like, it's inconsistent.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I think just the fact that you have the main character that can't speak, and how he has to rely on his emotion and whatever. I think that's enough of a challenge.
So I'm a fan of Joel Kinnaman now more recently because of like For All Mankind, and he's pretty good as Rick Flag in those Suicide Squad movies. But in this movie, he has like 2.5 expressions. He's all either sad or he's angry or he's sad and angry at the same time. That's all. It's like every expression he does in the movie. But he looks badass. Now, as far as your Punisher comment, I did like the training scenes are kind of interesting. Kind of remind me of Taxi Driver, but unlike Taken and Death Wish. But this is a guy who's never been in a fight. He has to learn how to shoot a gun. He has to learn how to drift a car. We see his like first kill. Yeah, he does throw up when he kills someone, but then he's very good at shooting accurately all of a sudden, very quickly. And while he's driving, like all of a sudden he's like John Wick and he could drive a car and shoot right in the guy's fucking chest. No problem. But I don't know. Some of the action was like there was hints of like, oh, there's some fucking nice John Woo shit.
You brought up a movie right there that like this is immediately going to be compared to, and it just doesn't even hold a candle.
So
John Wick.
Yeah, this is the great irony, right? Because we wouldn't have the John Wick if we didn't have John Woo doing what he did in the 80s. Now, is John Woo? My question is he done? Is his bag of tricks old hat? Does he need new
I
tricks?
just think that this particular experiment didn't work to his strengths. Like the great thing about John Woo is that his characters are great too.
Yeah,
like, his action is good, but his characters are great too. Like you have like these memorable characters, and you know you have Mickey Mouse and whatever. So you have all those guys. You got Castor Troy. He's great.
Every Chow Yun Fat character, right? And Alan from Hard Boiled.
Well, you know, we talked about this earlier with Tom Holland, where he wants to try things, and you're seeing it here with John Woo. Like, as a director, I'm sure he wanted to test himself and return to the U.S. audience and try something here, and it clearly did not, in my opinion, it did not work. But he tried.
I think the script kind of fails him too, so I don't completely blame him.
I'd love to see John Woo do like a Western or like a mob movie, like from like the 1920s.
He did talk about how he had to change how he shot this film, and that was a big deal for him. Like, they didn't shoot any coverage, so like they just shot what they needed and moved on. But yeah, you can clearly see like the small budget.
Yeah, as a small budget movie, it's fine. It just I really think that you say the name Woo, and you're like expecting
there's an expectation there. There's an expectation there, and the movie, it's just not that entertaining. And John Woo movies, at the very least, you walk out of a John Woo movie and you go, that was something. Yeah. And this one, I literally walked out and you go, this isn't even worth talking about.
Yeah. See,
there's no dialogue in the film, and I don't even want to talk about it.
So do you think he established the relationship with his son well? Dialogue less, like
I missed the beginning of the movie. Can you tell me how the movie opens?
Oh my gosh! So Ruggs, I also missed the first minute or two of the movie.
It starts really strange. It is a slow motion shot of Joel Kinnaman running towards the camera. This is straight up John Woo melodrama, and he's wearing that Christmas sweater.
Oh, is that how it starts?
Yes, and he's got blood on him. But the way he shot, how do I even explain this? You know, somebody's running at you and you shoot it. You imagine that the camera is tracking with the person moving back as they're running. This slow motion open, it's a very close up tight shots, but he's running, but it looks like he's running in place. Like I don't know if they put him on a treadmill and then shot him. It's very strange. And then it just cuts to him running through the alley, chasing these two cars that are shooting at each other.
Yeah,
right?
that's where
And then he finds the pipe and he hits the thing, and then you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then it cuts to him in the hospital, and then they show you what happened at Christmas.
And I was so mad because usually when I go to the theater, you have like a 20-minute guarantee that
at least 30-minute. They started this right away.
I guess they had no trailers to put in front of this.
They had weird.
So
trailers.
It started like a little bit earlier.
Weird.
Than
I literally did the same thing, Ruggs. I walked in at like the movie was a 3:00 start. And I 2:30 start, and I walked in at 2:46, thinking I still had plenty of time. And the movie, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is that Joel Kinnaman? What's going on?
Did this movie just start already?
Fuck!
Whoa!"
So like the first maybe 15 minutes of the movie, I was like wondering what I missed.
Same.
So it kind of spoiled the experience. I couldn't really immerse myself in the first bit of the movie. So I want to state that as well, because I don't think I said that in my review.
You didn't miss nothing. You missed slow motion Joel Kinnaman.
But from what I gathered, you see the kill later on.
Yeah.
Right. So okay.
But yeah, he gets shot in the throat, and there's some brutal violence. There's some squibs. There's some CGI blood.
Well, you know what else is weird with the dialogue is like the guy got stuck in a gang. The kid gets killed in a gang war, but I don't necessarily think we'd see him hunting two gangs. There's a line where he writes on the calendar,
Start a gang war. Well,
start a gang war, but like it's just him hunting that one gang.
It's confusing. I think.
Yeah, I was confused too. I was like, how does he start the gang war? What does he do?
So I think he starts the gang war when he sends those fingertips to the one of his guys to the one guy, and that guy thinks it's the other gang, and then they're both there. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense because that part where he takes the video from the gang member and films the guy getting executed.
Right, and he shoots him, yeah.
He shoots him like on the video and sends it. Like, it's clear to me that now the main guy, Playa, knows that Joel Kinnaman's character has the gun or has the phone, yet that motherfucker is so stupid to send out a group text including that guy that died and says, come to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you exclude that guy because now you know someone else has the phone?
Yeah, that part.
But see, there's no dialogue, so
it's confusing.
This is what sucks.
It's confusing. I just want to see him fuck some people up. I do that.
And if you're gonna do the fucking people up thing, it has to be more than what he put on screen. Like, the fake one-shotter is not enough.
Yeah.
And to me, actually, the fake one-shot isn't that great because all we're getting as he's coming up the stairs is the villains coming out stupidly one by one.
And just getting blasted, yeah.
And just getting, like, they're running into the bullets.
Yeah.
And it's like, this might have worked in the 90s when it was fun.
Yeah.
But, like, this has to be a little smarter.
Well, the whole thing is like a 90s throwback. Like, it's like
it, though?
like the Latino gang and
Yeah.
the white savior, suburban dad killing all the brown people.
I mean, this
know.
is Death Wish.
It's
this
Death
is,
Wish. It's even, it's
Yeah,
even more throwback.
This movie came out 20 years ago with Kevin Bacon and James
This
Wan.
movie would have been a huge hit 20 years. If it came out 20 years ago, it would have been great.
All right, let's just put it in the revenge movie listing here. And
Yeah.
Top revenge movies. Let's see what
It's
we got
definitely
here.
a revenge.
All right, let's see.
I mean, you didn't like that fight in the house. I like the thing where it was not clean. Like, he was training, but he was fucking it up, and he was getting stabbed, and he was not good at it. The fight in the kitchen at his house was amazing.
I want to go amazing.
It was pretty good.
Ron, come on.
It was pretty good.
It was
good.
entertaining.
It was like the
It was
best
good.
action thing in the movie.
It was good, but we've also seen that in Nobody and it's good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that was a good scene,
But
it's not enough to hang a whole movie
that's
on.
the thing. He's doing things now that we've seen. He's doing things he used to do that nobody has seen, but now everybody's done them, and he's doing the same thing. So now we're just like, oh, we've seen it.
But we didn't get the same. I don't think I agree with that. We didn't get like the same John Woo.
No,
we didn't get
okay.
We didn't get double guns like that. We didn't
the
get.
detective had double guns once.
Yes, Kid Cudi did one
Okay.
shot with double
It was one
guns.
shot. He had two guns, but that was it.
But we didn't get like them facing each other back to back. We didn't get like dubs. We got a
banter.
parrot.
Sliding on banisters, shooting. You need something.
No.
like,
We didn't,
something
we didn't have a lot of religious stuff.
I didn't need all that, but I just needed the banter of the characters is what I was missing.
No,
Yeah,
the
I agree.
action it's not as balletic as his previous stuff, as his best stuff, right? It seemed just a little messy instead of usually he's got great choreographed thing, like the hard boiled, that whole scene where it's like one shot in the elevator. Oh my God. Holy shit.
I mean,
But
you're not
he's
you're not
older.
going to beat anything with. I mean, he's in Hard Boiled. The guy's saving babies. Like
He's jumping out of a window with an explosion with a baby. Come on.
they have a much better one shot scene.
Yeah.
It's just not his best. I mean, really, it's the gimmick though. Like the gimmick hurt the fucking movie.
I mean, I appreciate the ambition. I appreciate he tried something, and it was a failed experiment, not a successful experiment, but he tried.
I mean, I'm looking at like all-time revenge movies. You got like
Payback
Death
keeps
Wish,
coming up. I haven't seen that.
You
in
know
a
what?
while.
I haven't seen that
Payback.
either. I heard it.
Kill Bill.
Oh yeah. Taxi Driver, is that in there?
That's not really a revenge
I
film.
mean-
That's more of a
That's
psychological.
True. That's true. Taken should be in there.
Taken's in there. John Wick.
Death Wishes, yeah.
All the Death Wish movies.
But that's the difference between him and Punisher. Like, Punisher was like a former Marine Navy SEAL,
The
right?
Equalizer,
Okay.
Falling Down,
The Equalizer, definitely.
Death Sentence,
Falling Down is another one I thought of watching this, but
A Vigilante. Oh my God.
But by the way, the reviewer for Roger Ebert, let me just throw this by you guys. Matt Zoller Seist, who reviews for RogerEbert.com, he gave this movie 4 stars.
Oh, shit.
He says it's John Woo's best, and just thinks it's an amazing movie, which is, I'm confused. You see the same movie.
Say that one more time.
I find like he says it's his best movie. It's hard to.
This?
Yes, he gave it 4 stars.
That's terrible.
That's not a great take.
Yeah,
It makes those kind of takes make you question. You go, art is subjective, but is it really? There's objectively bad. Like that's not true. This is not his best film.
No.
Yeah, see, even I, who love everything, I'm like, 4 stars, really, dude? I don't know about that. But it's got moments of woo, but it's things we've seen.
I just don't think it's actually. It's not really
It's the
that much
script.
of a John Woo film.
Yeah.
Not that I need, like Rugg said, not that I needed that. It's just.
See, there's some of it
It's
that's
not an entertaining
There's some of
movie.
it that's very woo, and then there's a lot of it that's just like not John Woo at all. But it's a lot in the melodrama where you don't want it, and not so much in the action where you do want it. Anyways, all right, let's rate this movie. Rank it. I think we already know what it ranks.
Rank it with what?
All the John Woo movies? Would you recommend? Anthony, go first. Give me a number.
5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's not horrible. It's not, but I wouldn't say it's good either. Like I don't think it's a very good film. I think, as mentioned, but to restate, the gimmick. If you're going to choose a gimmick, you have to choose. Like the gimmick has to actually make the movie better, and the movie it doesn't. It actually makes the movie considerably worse. And then you're hamstrung by the gimmick, and things don't make any sense. So yeah, I would not. If you're a John Woo fan, I mean, unless you just love watching anything John Woo, like go for it. But if you like these kinds of John Woo, like if you like old John Woo from the 80s and 90s, I actually would recommend you don't watch this.
Shit.
Because you're not. It's just not the same. You're seeing a lesser version of what he can really do.
He's in his 70s? I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, maybe. I think he probably is. Maybe he just. He's just, I'm old and I'm going to try some shit. And I don't really.
What do you do you think he's done? Do you think he should keep trying? He said, "I'm going to keep making things as long as I can."
I think you should make some movies. I gave you some ideas.
Yeah.
All
right.
Like, I think if you had the characters talk, it'd be a much better movie.
Bruggs,
Yeah, absolutely.
Bruggs, give me a score. What do you think?
It's a 5. It's not its worst film. It's not great, but it's definitely an action movie you can watch. A little slow moving. If you like a training sequence,
If you like a long
and all that
ass
stuff, you like to see guys like go to the target practice every 5 minutes.
how to drift cars.
Yeah.
Learn.
So yeah, it's okay. I love John Wick's storytelling, and it's there, but it doesn't have as much flair as his other movies. The budget obviously kind of stops him from doing some of his shots and the tracking and the dolly and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's the characters aren't there. There's no dialogue, and so you can't really. I mean, there are characters there, but they're just kind of like cutouts, basically.
They're all, yeah.
One quick question too, like why does Kid Cudi's character show up
To help him
by himself?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
that I
Like
thought
wouldn't
was-
you bring a whole army
Right.
of policemen?
He knows he's there, and the gangsters are there. Wouldn't you call in backup?
Yeah.
He's just there for the.
And then
save.
you just don't want to talk to the guy. That's very strange.
Yeah, and they pull guns at each other in the beginning, and then they just look at each other, and they're like, okay, dude, there's a point in one of the shootouts where he's sliding behind this like table, but it's like wide open underneath, and I'm like, how did he not get shot? Like none of the bullets fucking hit him. There's barely anything to hide behind. It was like completely open, and he's sliding past this table like it's covered.
But isn't it the worst thing where you get at the end of the movie and it's just some girl on heroin just shooting everybody that's killing action?
Yeah.
Like, he comes up a set of stairs, fighting off like 10 guys at a time that are shooting at him. No problem. But for some reason, this bitch with a gun.
She got an automatic. It's an automatic fucking rifle.
Well, they like do the thing where she's like Popeye and they drill heroin into her and she like revs up.
Like, and I thought, that's why I didn't think he died, because I thought he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and it was all like they're not shooting him in the head. I thought he would.
I think he just got a.
No, he should be dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
All right, I'm gonna be a little more generous with my score.
Of course you are.
I'm gonna give it a 6. It's okay. It's fine. It's not a movie, a John Woo return that you stand up and go, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" But it's not completely awful. There's, if you like experiment movies, it's an ambitious experiment to try. Also, watch No One Will Save You on Hulu. So I think it's a little better use of the no dialogue.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it's not. It was a little disappointing. It's not one of his best. If it's a warm up for him, great, and maybe he can get a bigger studio to pitch him something.
If he can get
better.
some money and he could have a script with his characters as usual that are charming and memorable, I'm all up for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I would say just wait until it's on streaming. So there was like 8 people in my theater.
Yeah, mine was pretty
I was
empty.
surprised people are coming. Okay. Let's do some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. From the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yo, that had some Skibbity Ohio riz on that one.
Yeah.
Fucking flapper.
Let me cook.
Let him cook, you Skibbity bastards.
Yeah.
Skibbity Peps. I'll give you the Skibbity Peps. What am I saying? I don't.
Yo, I ate on that one.
I don't know. You got me on the Skibbity Peps.
I definitely ate. Yeah.
You ate? Yeah, you ate. Even that's old. That's old passe now. I don't know. Let's start with this comment by our buddy Jimmy the Geek Graben, who posted a picture of him receiving the Reign of MCU book that we were just talking about. And he says, okay, Anthony, giving it a shot. I'll let you know how it is and even might finish it before Imran. Well, joke's on you, fuckers.
Oh, shit.
I finished the fucking book. And it was...
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
You want to give a quick review there, Anthony? Now, both having us finished it, just
A review?
Yeah, a couple sentences.
I mean, if you, it's for those that enjoy the behind the scenes of the MCU, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's seems like a pretty balanced book. Gives it props where it's due and calls out stuff that might be, a little rough.
That's true.
I think it just kind of lays out what a lot of the stuff that happened. It's more like a oral history or telling of
what I loved. It's all the shit we've been talking about for the past 8 years on this podcast, but to have it in like one concise chunk there was amazing. And there's a little extra backstory to things that she does get to add, and it's very current. Like it ends with her mentioning the fucking strike at the end of the book. I was like, holy shit, how quickly did they fucking print this book? But yeah, if you like the MCU at all or you're a hardcore fan, I highly recommend it. It's a great fucking read. And I love the format, how it goes like movie to movie and then the whole chapter on the visual effects. And, the producers like that D'Esposito guy and Victoria Alonso and Nate Moore and how they're like the real brain trust behind everything, even though they fired Victoria Alonso. But you're right. They give you the dirty too, like the bad stuff and it's well balanced, well researched, man.
Very well researched.
So I know a couple other people in the group are now reading it, but it's like a must read if you're like in the MCU hardcore. You want to know everything. Now I want to get that timeline book because there's like that official Marvel timeline copy.
Oh yeah, the Marvel one. Yeah.
And apparently in that one they have said that the Scarlet Witch is indeed dead, but I don't believe it. I don't think so. We didn't see a body. Yes, she got crushed by that thing, but we didn't see a body. She could be back. Okay, and then I want to mention this tweet from Blake Braden. It is the end of the year, which means Spotify does their rap thing. Guys, did you guys get your Spotify rap?
I did.
Check them out.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So Blake posted his top 4 podcasts, and he tweeted at us at Jock and Nerdcast, same high quality podcasting since the first day I started listening. Is it? Really? Is that us? His list, number 1, The Big Picture. Number 2, The Rewatchables. Number 3, The Jock and Nerd Podcast. Number 4, The Bill Simmons Podcast. We're in pretty good company there with the Blake Braden. Thank you.
We're in a Bill Simmons sandwich.
We are in the Bill Simmons sandwich. Thank you for listening, and everybody for listening on Spotify. So they do the rap for podcasts too. Do you guys want to? I wanted to go over our numbers real quick. Give you some of the stats.
Oh,
what do you mean?
Some of them, I'll tell you. Some of them are interesting. So our top episode for this year was episode 470, which was the sci-fi movie draft from January 25th.
Oh,
it was streamed 586% more than your average episode.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the stat.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's the people really like the sci-fi draft. We'll have to do more of those. So this is all Spotify stats. It says 58% of your listeners discovered you in 2023. That's a lot. It's more than half.
New people. A lot of new listeners.
So 14% of our new listeners started with episode 490, which was the RRR review.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Big Indian.
We got all the Indian bots joining us.
Yeah.
We have gone global. We were streamed in 24 countries. United States being top country with 58% of our total streams.
What's the next highest?
Yes, well, it says here, you have the most new listeners in top 5. United States, Canada, United Kingdom, India at number 4.
Yeah.
Ireland, number 5.
Wow.
What's up, Ireland? How's it hanging out there?
Indians.
Yeah, number 4.
RRR, baby.
RRR brings them in. We got to do more. There's some more Indian action movies that have been coming out that look fucking crazy. Like,
let's just do Gandhi.
Gandhi is a fantastic movie. Dude, Gandhi. But that's Ben fucking Kingsley. They couldn't find a brown guy.
I'm kidding.
They couldn't find a brown guy.
Now you got Imran going.
To play fucking Mahatma Gandhi series. He's amazing, though. He's amazing in that role. I think he won an Oscar. And he's so good.
I think he did
so
win the
good,
Oscar.
dude. But he's like, at the end, he gets shot. And he just goes, oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, fucking hell. I cry every time. Your podcast rating was 5.0. Perfect score.
Good.
It says, are you a gardener? Because your podcast saw some nice growth this year. Plus 44% in listeners, plus 21% in streams, and plus 12% in followers.
That's good.
Yeah, those are all good. I don't know if those are good numbers, but
I mean, they're not negative.
They're not negative. Oh,
shows some nice growth.
Here's the best. It ends with the top 10. This is some interesting shit. It says you are a top 10 podcast for 119 fans.
Wow, that's more than I would think.
We are a top 5 podcast for 82 fans.
Wow.
And then drum roll, please. We are the number 1 podcast for 26 fans on Spotify. Thank you, all those 26 people. Holy shit.
I mean, I wouldn't. Spotify is definitely growing in terms of a podcast platform. So,
they're trying to get a big chunk. I think they are number 2 now behind Apple Podcasts. Like, they have made some big moves.
Nice.
That's cool. Those are cool stats.
69% returning listeners. I think that's the best. I think we will end.
For what it's worth, Ben Kingsley is half English and half Gujarati.
Oh, he is half Indian. He was. Okay, you know what? I take it all back. It's fine. That counts. He's
born Krishna Pandit.
That's
Pandit.
right. I fucking forgot. That's why he kind of looks like Gandhi. They just had to like brown him up a little, and he looked okay.
Was it okay, Imran?
Yes,
is he fine?
Absolutely.
Can he play Gandhi?
He can play Gandhi. He's got half.
That's right.
He's got half a Desi blood in him. It counts.
Yeah.
So at least they tried. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much for listening, sharing, liking, following, whatever. Spread it around. Stroke it. Okay, let's end
Nutting.
with some What Are We Watching? Monarch, episode 5.
Yes.
You guys watch?
Yes, I did watch it.
What the fuck happened? Because I felt like I watched it and I was like, nothing really happened in this episode.
Well, yeah.
What?
Nothing happened.
That's probably the right. They've spent now 2 episodes kind of spinning their wheels a little bit here.
No flashback to the 50s. They get back to the U.S. to Kate's mother. She meets Kentaro. Monarch
and then
holds
Kate
Shaw.
proceeds to say she's like chicken shit, which is like, wow, it's really you're going to talk to your mom.
Oh, yeah. The mom's got like a
and then
boyfriend.
it's a whole thing where they're going through the ruins of San Francisco to get to the dad's office, and then they do like an Iron Man 2 thing where like, oh, the message is hidden, but if you just like do these things,
Hold the paper up to the light.
Hold the paper into the light with the holes in the right spot, you'll see the map of where he. It's like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I just tell you, these characters they're just so dumb. Like, I was yelling at my team. I'm like, you're fucking dumb. When they're like trying to sneak through the town and they hide from the cops, and then they're just like walking around singing, and they just walk by, and there's a whole bunch of fucking police over there. I'm like, you people are fucking idiots. What are you doing?
They were singing and waving their flashlights all
I'm
around.
like, turn the flashlight off. What are you doing?
They always had them on.
Like, of course they're gonna find you.
These
fucking
people
idiot.
fucking suck.
They're so dumb.
What they're doing. And then like Kurt Russell talking about they're so talented. Like, no, they're not.
It got me so mad. I was like, these people are idiots. What are you doing?
I mean, the show started off good, but it is crumbling.
We find out that May is secretly working for a Monarch.
See, I thought she already was, but I guess she's just happened now. Yeah, she's
and they keep doing the thing where it's like Kurt Russell. I didn't know if they were like making a joke or if they're actually implying that he might have taken something because they go, he shouldn't. They did it again. We're like, he shouldn't look like that. He's 90.
Oh, that is another thing I keep thinking. I forget to mention. He should be a lot older. If his son is playing him in the 50s, like he should be. So something.
And he's a World War II vet, but they were like, he shouldn't look like. And then they implied that maybe he might have found something, or I don't know.
Like he could have been
There
on
was some kind of they mentioned some kind of like anomaly or something.
Yeah.
So if he was at Skull Island and then that kept him young, or he ate something or something,
Right.
but like, oh, absolutely, he should be a lot older. This age don't fucking track.
It's all about Mothra.
Is what? Why?
I don't know. I just said-
Yeah, this was
They better pick this shit up. This is
these last two episodes have made me
But we
go,
did
"Ooh."
find out that Kate likes the ladies.
Oh yeah, dude,
she does.
You know how you were saying
She
Anthony?
cheats on her girl.
Yes, you know how you're saying I don't like Kate. This fucking broad is
Yeah, she's
cheating.
kind of a shitty person.
She's a shitty person. She was cheating on her girlfriend, who she then abandoned and went on the bus, and still all the kids
By
died.
the way, like she could have gotten two hotter girls. Both of them were like not on.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, she's a very good looking woman.
Yeah.
And not the best choices.
No,
but,
zero.
yeah. Again, that Kate, she's just like her mom.
She's a shitty
Well, you were
person.
too chicken shit.
Yeah,
And I was
she's a
what?
horrible
You
person.
talk to your mom like that?
Why are they writing her like this? She's not a good person. You don't like her.
She's a country singer.
So they're heading to Africa. Is that the thing? Is one of the dots? Like that's where he
Yeah,
is.
it's one of the dots for an F.
Maybe her dad's there. Who knows? They're literally following a trail of pencil shavings across the fucking planet. Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's unfortunately. I liked the show to start, but it's quickly becoming not
Was
good.
there any monsters in this episode? Did we see anything? We saw a flashback of Godzilla.
Saw flashbacks.
What are we really learning about Monarch? Nothing.
No.
Like, they're
Nothing,
really,
really.
still a mysterious organization. We know nothing
They're a very
about.
confusing agency.
I thought this was going to crack this open because what I wanted the series was like, okay, let's say she finds out her dad's in Monarch. They go to this goofy place in Alaska. And then, they get the radio, and then Monarch screws them up. And I'm like, okay, now
There we
is
go.
the time.
Yeah.
We're going to they're going to be like, listen, we want you to be part of our team. We're going to fucking help you find your father. We're all on board with you. And that would have been interesting. And then you can see the inner workings of Monarch and a little bit of stuff. But no, they just kind of like, they put them on the long leash, as they say.
No, they did the
so
thing where
can-
they let them go, hoping they find their dad, and then they can sweep in. Like, what the fuck?
The whole show right now is like them tracing their father's footsteps
Yeah.
and going on like wild adventures
Yeah.
in different places of the world. But the problem is like we're not really learning anything while this
Yeah.
happens. It's just like, oh, we're gonna spend the entire episode looking for a clue to get you to the next place.
Yeah,
that's not actually interesting.
Yeah, you got to give me some breadcrumbs.
Yeah, so.
And I think
Yeah.
that the flashbacks were doing that a little
Right.
bit.
I
They-
mean,
they do that
I
for
kind of
them.
missed the flashbacks. That was
Yeah,
my.
I'm like I hate spending time because all three of the characters are so stupid.
They're kind of
and
dumb and annoying. Yeah.
and annoying. Yeah.
I want to see Bill Randa and young Lee Shaw and Keiko. Like that was a great.
Those were better characters.
Yes, that was the best part of those episodes. Was the fucking 50s.
Do you think the mom's alive?
Mom.
Wait, who's mom?
No, the mom's not. Mom could be alive because if the one that got eaten by the bugs.
Oh, Keiko.
the grandma.
Yeah, grandma. Maybe that was a swerve, and maybe she is somewhere. I don't know.
Because if like, if what's his name is still like 90 years old and looks like he's
Right.
70.
Maybe her dad is looking for his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. We just saw the bugs take her. You know that they didn't show.
There was no body.
There's no body. She could be still
body.
alive. We
That's
do
right.
know
Oh, yeah.
Bill Randa died because he got eaten. We saw that.
We did
explicitly.
see that.
That's a great end to him.
Yeah, it's just the last two have been very
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah. And after -1, you're just like, I need more.
Yeah.
Anthony, you watch anything else?
I did. I saw in the theater.
Oh,
Godzilla -1 again.
Oh, how was this experience? Second time.
It was awesome. I saw it on Thursday night. I saw a 7:15 showing. Theater was completely sold out.
Wow. Wow.
Which I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Actually, I had some friends going, and I was like, I'll buy tickets like last minute because I know this won't sell out. And then I checked 2 days before, and I went, oh shit,
Wow.
this is getting packed. So I bought a ticket next to them. I had 3 friends that went, one being a girl that has never seen any Godzilla shit.
Okay.
The other 2 were like very, like they know who Godzilla is, but they don't see anything.
Uh-huh.
And they all walked out and were like, that was awesome.
Well, yeah.
They were literally like, that was so good that they started, like, we went to a bar after and they wanted to talk about the
Oh my
movie.
God. Look at what this is doing.
What the girl who, like, doesn't know anything about Godzilla films was like, what other Godzilla films are
Oh
out
my
there to
God,
watch?
it's
I'm like,
converting.
to be honest, you're not going to like it.
Not like this. You just saw the best one.
So yeah, the only thing I would say is it's still very good upon rewatch. There are times where the CGI is not the best, especially when he's like walking. There's a lot of like, there's sometimes where he looks like Shin walking really stiff.
Yeah.
Like very straight.
Yeah.
But overall, the movie's still very, very good, and I legit had goosebumps the second time watching it when he fires his blast in the water, and they're like, oh, should we go after him or not? And then the guy's like, no, he's like weak. This is the time to go. And the boat starts circling him, and they start playing the Godzilla music, like dun, 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 dun. And it was like, I legit was like, this is fucking awesome. Like they're like, I was literally like, let's get Godzilla, like rooting for him. And I think Big Action Bill pointed this out, which was a nice little like full circle. But the original Godzilla theme that Ifukube came up with, that was actually in the original movie. That was when the planes were attacking Godzilla.
Okay.
So it was more of like a Japanese military.
Yeah.
Like, let's get him. And it just stuck as Godzilla's theme. And it's nice to say, he was basically saying it's nice to see in this movie it's being used again for like Japan.
Oh, that was
so it, like,
the
comes full
Japan
circle.
theme originally.
Yeah. And then it just stuck as Godzilla's theme. But yeah,
And
I
then
had legit goosebumps.
The original Godzilla theme is like that. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
So I think in some was it Monster Zero where they combined them?
Yeah, it might have been Monster Zero, or was it? Yeah, I think it was Monster Zero where they combined them.
Yeah, that's when you get that combo.
You get both. Yeah, and it's great. Great movie.
Man.
Really good. And I did notice upon second viewing too, they really emphasized that black mark on her neck.
Oh, I just see. I totally didn't catch that. I gotta watch.
They like zoomed
into
it.
it. Very.
And I'm really curious what that means going forward. Because there's been a lot of speculation on the internet, like wild theories, like, oh, she going to turn into Godzilla, which I think would be a weird choice.
Infected.
She would be like Girlzilla.
So yeah, that's what
Nice.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching it, and I was equally impressed by the theater being sold out and my non-Godzilla friends first wanting to see the movie. So they were the ones, they were like,
They heard about it.
they heard about it. They didn't even hear about it from me. They just heard that it was good, and they were like, let's see it.
Wow.
And then they walked out, and they were like, wow, that was great.
That's I mean, I'm dying to see it again just to go through like the emotional ride through that movie. Because like, yeah, you can't not leave that movie and be like emotionally.
Oh, there's so
affected.
many. Yeah, it's such an emotional film.
It is, and it really works. And then Godzilla is legit terrifying when you just look it up at it. Be like, holy fuck. Wow, that's great. This movie is converting fans. It's wild. I think it's gonna have.
Did you feel it moved slowly, or did you feel that the pace was better?
It was a little slower for me just because I really wanted to see. It moved slower for me just because I didn't know if my friends were liking it. So I was like, let's try to get to this Godzilla stuff. 'Cause I know the Godzilla stuff they'll like.
Yeah.
But by the end, they were like, no, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, perfectly
It's good
paced.
balance.
Perfect. They love they were like over the moon when Noriko was alive at the end. They're
Yes.
like, oh, that's so good.
Me too.
Brad, she's alive.
And it's just like, it's almost like you should have seen it coming. It's a little cheap little thing, but it totally works. You're like, fuck yeah, she's alive.
Right. I love the line too where he's like talking to Tachibana.
Yeah.
When he tried to get him to lure him back, and he's like, "The war's not over for you too."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's a really good line."
Yeah, the war isn't over.
I was like, "It's not over for me, and I know it's not over for you." And then he like turns around and decides to help him.
It's good.
There's just so many good things.
good
It's such
shit.
a good fucking
It's
movie.
really good.
The fact that like, as a longtime Godzilla fan, like all my life, that this has become a thing, is like so amazing to me.
Yeah. That's got to be a while.
And we got a pink Godzilla now.
Yeah.
And we got a pink
one for the
Godzilla.
Barbies.
We got everything. We got everything we'd ever wanted and more.
And you got people walking around holding papers up to windows and light shines through and something happens. You have that too.
You want to know what pissed me off about that so much?
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, can you hang up that map and I'll put this on the thing?"
Yep.
And instead of like getting a marker and circling all the shit where the things went, they just like fold it up again.
How are they going to know where the fucking thing is? You didn't even mark the map.
It's just so it's
But
so
it
illogical.
took an artist, right, to figure it out. It took the tech person and an artist who does projection art.
It's like contrived bullshit.
It was a very
Yeah, it was
contrived.
bad.
Ruggs, you watch anything?
I watched the Squiddy Games.
Oh, the finale episode with the winner. We'll put up some spoiler alerts in
Yeah,
case.
spoiler alert.
In case you're still
That
going to
show
watch it.
sucks, and I don't think the girl got her money yet.
I was kind of, the end was kind of disappointing.
Very
I
disappointing.
enjoyed episodes 6 through 9 the best.
Anthony, they played rock, paper,
She
scissors.
wins $4.5 million on a game of rock, paper, scissors. Multiple games.
Well,
Lots of games.
I have also heard through the webs that she has not gotten paid yet either.
Well, after taxes, it's really like $3 million, but no,
it's still $3
What, do
million.
you- what the hell, Imran? Kind of logic is that?
Like, Imran's like,
it's only $3
that's
million.
too low
It's not
for me.
enough for her.
Yeah, at that point, I might as well not even get the money.
No, but they present it as she wins this like debit card that she can use anywhere that's got $4 million on it. I don't know if that's how it works. I guess she hasn't gotten the money yet.
No, I'm sure it's going to get taxed, but it's definitely get taxed, but you'll at least get half of that, which is still a lot of
Anthony,
fucking money.
they
Imran.
are casting for season 2. You should fill
I'm
out
good.
a lot of application there. A lot of application.
I'm good. It's only 3 million instead of 4,
This-
so I'm not.
so
you know,
what disappointed me-
by Imran's logic, that's
It's
not
only
that's
three-
not
it's
enough money.
After taxes, fuck that. Look, what disappointed me about this last episode is they just played games of chance, and there was none of like the backstabbing and manipulation I was looking forward to. It was straight up chance, and like the guy
It was too nice.
The guy to go out 3 loses on chance, and I'm like, that's a shitty way to go out 3. Just fucking chance. Like it was, you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah,
but
it's lame.
It was lame.
It's a guilty pleasure, but the ending was.
I feel like on the scale of 1 to 10 in these type of shows, it's not the best one. I think it's like a C at best.
Yeah, they're gonna do another season though. So
it's I would say 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I watched another thing on Netflix.
Did you?
That movie?
Did you?
Leave the World Behind.
Okay.
Starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali.
What's it about?
So it's based on a book by a brown person, I think, Ruman Alam. It's about this family, and she books this rental cottage. It's in New York, out in like Long Island, so they can get away for the weekend. And weird things start happening. It's really vague. There's some sort of attack or hackers or cyber attack, and then Mahershala Ali shows up with his daughter at the house saying, we're the owners and this crazy shit happened while we were in the city and we'd like to stay here. And then she doesn't trust them. There's like some racial overtones. It's a very weird movie. And then you spend a lot of time where they're just figuring each other out. There's Kevin Bacon plays like this prepper, and she's got 2 kids. The one girl just wants to watch Friends. There's weird animal things where all these deer show up. And then
sounds terrible.
And then it ends like without any ending, without any resolution, just kind of ambiguously the movie ends. And when it ended, I was like, what the fuck? That's where we're ending? That's it?
No, fuck
what the
that
fuck
movie.
happened?
I'm mad that you're even telling me about it.
There's no ending. And I mean, I like ambiguous endings, but this was like more. There was like, you figure out what happened. I was like, what the fuck? So it's slow. There is some Hitchcockian style. Oh, here's why I wanted to watch it. Ruggs. It's written and directed by Sam Esmail, the guy who gave us Mr. Robot. You know how Mr. Robot is very weird, and he does kind of frame the shots also weird where somebody's talking.
Right.
And they're like all the way on the one side, and there's all this empty space. So Sam Esmail, I was like, oh, let me check this out. There are shades of Hitchcockian type tension and shots, but it's weird. I didn't really dig it at the end.
I feel like nothing that you said made me want to watch.
Like jerk you around, and you're like, what is going on? I kind of dozed off in the middle because it was boring.
At no time in your incoherent rambling did you say anything that even sounded entertaining.
God have mercy on all your souls.
So,
and then it ends, and I'm like, what? What the fuck is this? That is some bullshit. So, anyways, check it out.
Great job, Imran.
Check it out.
I don't know why you watched it, but all right.
I am now dumber for listening.
Everybody was talking about this movie, Sam Esmail. I was like, oh, Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali. It's a dope cast, right? But it's not good. So,
okay,
I wasted my time for you, so you can avoid it. Anyways, that's it for this
Thanks,
week.
Imran.
Ruggs, where can the people find you?
Wherever Anthony is. Where are you,
Anthony, where can the people find you?
Oh man, this week I'll be at your nearest and dearest Barry's studio.
Oh, what is
doing some
that?
boot camp workouts.
Oh, it's a workout place?
Yeah.
What kind of
It's
workout?
like a boutique.
Oh.
It's like a boutique workout place where like you have someone telling you to run and do all this shit, but like the rooms are like red lit. They call it the Red Room, so it's like this like nightclub vibe, and they blast music.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's what
You
I
get a
now.
cocktail afterwards. What happens? Is that
You could. Well, they have like a
Got
shake
smoothies?
bar, but
Yeah,
I guess
of course.
you could get a cocktail. Although you're pretty drained.
Let me
by
get
the-
an
by the
alcoholic
end of it.
protein smoothie.
Yeah,
sounds yummy.
With like chia seeds
Yes.
and like all the stuff that white people think is like healthy for you right now.
With some flax seeds and some
There you
MDMA
go.
and that shit.
After hearing that, I don't think I'll be where Anthony is.
Okay, where will you be, Ruggs? He's not going to be working out.
I'll be on Twitter, or X is what they call it now, at Really Rug Boy. Come follow me, even though I never check it anymore.
He will not be doing the workout.
Yeah, I don't have access to my account.
We'll fix that. I know I got to do a thing. I keep.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
all that shit in the show notes, listener. Most important thing you can do to help us spread the show: tweet it out, text it, post it, whatever you got to do. Shove it in people's ears. Run up to people. Give them one of these. Jock and Nerd. And everything will be swell. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
Beep you next time.
Next time.
I really don't give a shit.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
Thing I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
And you blew it.
I like turtles.
Jock and Nerd. And you blew it.